again, my name's Alex Torres. I know many of you, but I haven't met all of you. And so I am the full-time educator for Matrix and Biolage here in Florida. And so one of my favorite things about that is that I get to spend every day of my life sharing and learning and sharing and gaining information and sharing information. And so what's so exciting now is that we have Zoom. And so we can connect with people from all over. And I love that. So what I would love for you to do right now, also on the bottom of your screen is 3 dots. You're gonna click those 3 dots and find where it says chat box. When you locate the chat box, go ahead and type where you are joining us from. Ohio, Florida, Kentucky, Peach, Georgia, Carter, Pennsylvania, Washington, like state? Joey, you're up early. Vermont, Pennsylvania, Texas, Kentucky. Oh, I love it. We've got people from all over. Joey, thanks for waking up early. Karen's in Chicago, a beauty school in Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's awesome, Jasmine. Thank you guys for joining. So what I really want to go over today is when and why to use all of the different toning options for Matrix, because it seems like every day we're bringing out something new. And sometimes I know when I'm buying the chair, I'm like, okay, there's a lot to grab, a lot to pull from. What do I use for what scenario? And so that's what this is going to be all about. What I would love from you now is if you would like to come off mute and share for me, what do you want to get out of a toning program? Like, what will make this next hour together most impactful for you? Who's going to break the silence?
I'll go.
All right. Hi, Jess.
Hi. I love all things new, and I know there's new things coming. So I'm excited to hear about what's happening in the coming months with toning.
Yeah, love it. Love it. What's new? Hopefully you can see this. What else? If you're scared to come off mute, you can put it in the chat box. Carter, I see your face.
I would like to, can I speak?
Of course.
Okay.
Always.
I would like ColorSync come out with more acidic option.
All right, I hear you. I'm with you, and I might have you covered on that. So have more acidic options.
Like maybe the clear option.
Right? Because sometimes that violet can be a little strong, and it's like, if I could just leave it with clear. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Karen says toning on level or one level lighter or darker or more neutralization. So how to tone on different levels, Karen, is that good?
The only bad thing is that because none of us are like toning experts, we can't go. People have gone again.
I got one more.
All right.
What is the difference between pearl family and violet family? Yes, because a pearl is also deposit violet tone, is that right?
It totally does. Yep. So what's the difference between a pearl and a violet? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
So my students have a quick question, and their question is, again, we are a beauty school here, so again, these students are still learning Matrix and learning the color line. Their big question is, what is the difference and why is it more better to utilize the new 5-minute toners versus actually formulating from the original ColorSync formulations?
Love it. Great question, guys. So why 5-minute toners over traditional toners. Love it.
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. All right, guys, so let's dive in, hopefully. So the first thing we're gonna go through is what's trending, right? So let's talk about what's trending in the world of toning so we can find solutions to those problems, which I think some of this covers, especially with Carter wanting more acidic options. And then we'll dive into acid versus alkaline, right? Because we've got toners that live in both places. And so why would I choose an acid toner over an alkaline toner? What does that even mean? And then at the end, we're going to talk about some really new, fun tools that Matrix is coming out with very soon that I think you will all be dying to get your hands on. I just got a box of stuff and I started playing this morning. If any of you saw my Insta story, I am so excited. Tanja says she would like to know as much as possible about determining when to use acid versus alkaline. I got you, girl. So, love that, my PowerPoints. There we go. So we already know, right? Lightning surfaces are trending. Balayage, foliage, double processed blondes, right? Like it's almost everybody wears dimension in their hair now. Not just blondes either, right? Like we see dimension in brunettes as well. I really wish I could get rid of this little thing on my screen, but not sure how to do that. I do know how, but not on my computer. I can do it from my phone. So the other thing, as far as what's trending, is, you know, one of the complaints I hear all the time is my toner fades, right? And so clients are always saying, my tone doesn't last. I think that there's a couple of solutions to that. One is selecting the right option to tone, right? That would be step one. And then the second piece is brunettes. If you look here, this little Google information shows the trend of brunette toning over 5 years and how rapidly it's growing. So we have so many people with dark level 1, 2, 3 bases who are getting balayage, who still need tone in their hair. And so what options do we provide for them? Marcus says he can't see my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
I do.
I can see it too.
Marcus,
Are you? I'm so sorry, Alex. Are you sharing content?
Yeah, I'm sharing a PowerPoint.
Okay, I only see you. That's fine. I just thought there was content that you were showing on the screen.
I am. You
Oh, okay. No, I just see your beautiful face.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Are you on like the screen with multiple faces? Like if you swipe back, do you see it?
Oh, there it is. Thanks. Sorry.
Oh.
I was looking at you and everybody else. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Guys,
Sorry.
if you can't see the PowerPoint and you're on your phone and you're seeing like multiple people's faces, just swipe your screen back this way and you should get to a screen that has me in one corner and the PowerPoint large in the center of your screen. I hope. Jasmine, can you see the, oh, it looks like, I think I'm seeing your screen sharing in your room. It looks like you see it now. Okay, perfect. So, hashtag brunette balayage, hashtag dimensional brunette, right? Like these things are starting to trend. You see my student. Lovely. Okay, so moving along. Sorry about this beautiful green line on the bottom of the screen. So let's start with why ColorSync in general, right? Who would like to come off of mute and just share for me what do you love about ColorSync in general? What's your favorite thing about using ColorSync as your demi?
This is Tanja. I use ColorSync all the time. Like I have more of that than So Color in my dispensary because I use it to fill. I use it to tone. I use it to cover gray. I mean, literally there's nothing you can't do with it, and it makes the hair, because of the ceramides, it helps the hair be shiny, it smooths the cuticle. It's an all in all wonderful product.
100%, right? And so I love that. And it's also all of the things that I love about ColorSync. I use double at least the amount of ColorSync to permanent color in the salon. I'm a demi-permanent root. And to your point, I love how conditioning it is. And it's a cream demi. And so one of my favorite things about our demi is that cream base. And so those are some of the things that I love. And we say it lasts up to 20 shampoos, but I got news for you. We might have some new exciting things on that as well. So the next thing I want to talk about, we could easily just jump right into the fact that ColorSync is oxidative and go down that route. But I think it's really important that we speak about the difference between direct dye and oxidative dye in general. So, it's pretty easy to cheat here. So I hope that people are willing to share. Who would like to tell me what is a direct dye? Give me some characteristics of direct dyes.
So Color Cult.
Oh, I love it. So Color Cult, right? Semi-permanent So Color Cult is a great example. Yes, jasmine, fashion colors, 100%, right? And so what we know about those semi-permanents and those fashion colors is that the color molecules themselves are really big. So if I squeeze a tube of semi-permanent color out of the tube, what does it look like?
The color it will be on the hair.
100%, right? The color that it'll be on the hair. And so, sorry, admitting a new friend to our family. Yeah, so it's the color that it is, right? We don't mix it with developer. We lay it right on the hair. And typically we teach that semi-permanent color or direct dyes adhere to the outside of the cuticle. And it lives in temporary and the semi-permanent categories. What about oxidative dyes? Give me some characteristics of oxidative dye. You can either type it in the chat or come off mute and share. Carter, you're on mute, my friend. I hear you sharing amazing things, sort of, with your mouth moving.
Okay. Okay. Oxidative dye require developer to activate the color molecule.
Yeah, right? So we need developer to activate the color. And so when we squeeze a tube of oxidative dye, it is translucent may not be the word. It's cream colored or white. And to Marcus's point, oftentimes lives in permanent color. So what happens, right, is there's a chemical reaction that takes those really tiny dyes and starts to develop them. And so they're so small that they can penetrate all the way into the cortex of the hair, and then they slowly grow and expand and get trapped inside. And so, we talk often about oxidative dye living in the permanent category. But in reality, oxidative dyes in general are long-lasting, and they live in permanent and demi-permanent hair color. Right? So who can tell me what is the difference between permanent and demi-permanent color? Just broad case. We're going to say they're both oxidative dyes. So what makes them different?
The lift.
The lift, right? So we know that permanent color can lift and change the level. Also, we often use permanent color for gray coverage, where we have a more resistant or densely packed cuticle layer that we need to burst open so that we can make some magic happen. And Melissa says how far into the hair it goes. I love that, right? So permanent color sometimes will drive farther into the cortex than a demi-permanent color. Ultimately, right, what it boils down to is our lovely friend, let's see if my slide switches, alkalinity. So let's dive into this. This to me, we could use any color line in the world. These principles apply everywhere. And so if we deeply understand why we would choose something that's more acid or more alkaline when it comes to hair color, the better off we will be, right? And so the more alkaline something is, the more it does what? And you can type that word into the chat box. Yeah, Jesse says swell, right? So the more alkaline something is, the more it swells. So here's the deal. Inside of our color formula, there's a few things that really matter. Obviously, like conditioning agents and things matter. But what else matters is a couple of things. The alkaline agent, the dye molecules themselves, because, well, we need those to make color happen, and the what? What's the other thing? It's not inside the tube that we need to make oxidative hair color work.
H2O2.
H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, right? Or developer. Yes, Marcus. Yes, Joey. So developer is the third part of a color formula. Now, out of those three things, no, I've already given this answer, so I don't even have to ask this question. The alkaline agent lives inside the tube of color, and the job of the alkaline agent is to swell the cuticle so that developer can do two things: lift, if it is permitted to, and then deposit. So developers like Mrs. Pac-Man, it goes in and it starts eating at the natural hair. It takes out that eumelanin and starts exposing the pheomelanin and works its way up, which is why we start to see our lovely friends that we love so much, natural underlying pigment. And then it leaves us at an end result, or picks the color molecules up and drives them into the cortex if we're talking about oxidative hair color. So here's the deal. When it comes to toning and we're lightening hair, we have to decide, once we've pre-lightened the hair, we've affected the what? What's the word? It's a P word. Porosity, yes, right? We've affected the porosity. Yes, Jen. Yes, Jesse. So the more porous the hair becomes, the more it's going to accept what we give it, the deeper it's going to appear. And so at times, if we have really porous hair, we might want to use something that's slightly more acidic or slightly less alkaline. It's why we teach never to layer permanent color over permanent color, because I like to think of hair, normally I have it with me, but I don't think I do today. I like to think of hair as a sponge, right? So when I was in school, we were taught that the cuticle opens and shuts. Let me tell you a little secret. It's not a door. It doesn't open and things happen and then we close it back down, right? So if we say hair lives at a 4.5 to 5.5 on the pH scale, I want you to think about, you just bought a brand new sponge for your kitchen sink, right? That is healthy hair. I'm gonna lay that sponge flat on the surface of my hand, and then I'm gonna put it under the water and turn the nozzle and turn the water on. What's gonna happen is that sponge, the water is gonna sort of bounce off, right? Because the hair is healthy. So we have to squeeze it, right? So that it starts to swell, like what an alkaline agent would do, to allow the color or the water to enter the sponge. And then when you pick up that healthy sponge, it holds on to the water until you squeeze it and it lets all the water out, and it's a nice dry, fairly dry sponge with one good squeeze. Now, I'm gonna highlight perm, flat iron, blow dry, shampoo, blow dry, flat iron, curl, right? All these layers of things. The more things I do that pull that pH up, the weaker that sponge becomes. Think of washing dishes, dish soap, scrubbing that stuff out of the bottom of the pan. So now my sponge is like a weak, flimsy mess. We're like 6 months down the road, it's probably time for a new sponge. If I took that sponge and put it under my kitchen sink and turn the sink on, it's like thirsty. It's like, give me all the water you can give me. It'll take everything, right? And then you pick that sponge up and it's just like pouring water out. Anybody ever tried to blow dry hair that's like over processed and you just can't dry it? You know when you squeeze that sponge in the kitchen sink and you're just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and you just can't get all the water out? That's porous hair, right? And it does the same thing with color. So when it becomes that weak sponge or more porous, it's going to accept everything that we give it and easily pour it out. Marcus, is that a question? Or a, like a, yes! We got another person, okay. So, let's talk about ColorSync when it comes to toning. So when you look at this chart, I'm gonna move my people up. We have multiple options. I don't know why I keep how I keep drawing on the screen. Oh, Marcus said, yes, I've blow dried hair that doesn't dry, for sure. So now we've got all these amazing things in ColorSync. We've got our traditional alkaline ColorSync toners, right? Which look like this in a box, right? Here is 10V. And then we've got our new 5-minute fast toners that look like this. Anti-brass, anti-yellow, anti-red. And we have our sheer acidic toners. And this one we're going to talk about later. You've probably never seen this guy. So let me ask you, what is the difference between a traditional alkaline ColorSync toner and a sheer acidic toner? Why would I use one over the other? All answers are good answers. Yeah, right? Marcus says lift. So with a traditional ColorSync toner, we can get half a level of shift or lift on the hair. So if I do a foil on natural hair and I want it to be really soft, beautiful, and blended, a traditional ColorSync toner will not only tone my blonde, but give me just the most subtle amount of shift and really give me a soft, beautiful, blended end result. Whereas an acidic toner, if we said that things that are alkaline swell, something that is acidic is going to do what? Contract. Yes, Karen, love it, right? So if we overly lighten hair, we have porous hair, a really good option if we're just trying to deposit only with no shift and really seal that cuticle down is going to be an acid-based demi-permanent color. Good? So let's move on. Oh, I guess I should move back since I didn't talk about, I think I talked about it. Who wants to guess? Are the 5-minute fast toners acid or alkaline?
Alkaline.
Alkaline, yes, Tanja. So the 5-minute fast toners are slightly alkaline. Who, give me a thumbs up emoji if you have used the 5-minute fast toners. I see thumbs. Give me a hand clap emoji if they sort of scare you. Oh, I see a hand clap. Love it. Yeah, so listen, it took me a minute to wrap my brain around these. Oh, Tanja says she doesn't have the emojis in her Chromebook. I believe that you were thumbs upping in person, in spirit.
I was.
So the 5-minute fast toners are fast, right? Like that's hence the name 5-minute fast toner. So why I would choose to use a 5-minute fast toner would be for quick, corrective, pre-toning type of results. So say I lifted someone to a true yellow, and my end goal was to make them, I don't know, silver. What would happen? What color might I get if I took a silver tone and put it right on top of that yellow?
It would be muddy because it would be neutralizing.
Yeah, right? It might look muddy because it would be neutralizing, because silvers oftentimes have blue and or violet in the base. And so if it's a violet-based silver, well, it's going to counteract the yellow and give me neutral. I now have no silver. I have a beautiful, clean blonde. If I want a blue-based silver and I put it on top of yellow, well, now we got a whole nother scenario where we've got green, and now we've corrective color at the bowl. So great little party. So anti-yellow, to quick kick out that yellow in 5 minutes, gives us a quick pre-toning option so that we can clean the canvas and then get the end result that we're looking for. Good? Okay, moving along. So I just wanted to take the time to walk through some of the existing toners that we have so you guys can really visually see the difference. Now, understand that all of these were done on Joey. Oh, I love that question. Joey says, can you use clear with the 5-minute fast toners? Anybody know the answer to this? Yes, Tanja, right? We just found out officially in the last, like, I don't know, month or so, that you can use ColorSync Clear with the 5-minute fast toners. So if you feel like they give you a little too much tone or they tone a little bit too quick, you can totally mix clear with them. Great question. Thank you, Tanja. Oh my gosh.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is it because they are alkaline? Clear is the alkaline base, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So
you got it, right?
okay.
So both clear and the 5-minute fast toners are alkaline. And so
Okay.
totally work together. Great question.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So here are the sheer acidic toners, and these are on white wefts, so you can tell there's a lot of tone, a lot of pigment inside them. One thing I like to point out is we always talk about, or one of the things I struggled with at first was like, we have sheer pastels in our traditional ColorSync, and then we have sheer acidic. And so to me, when I think of sheer pastels, I think of, you know, a really soft, light blonde with not a ton of tone, like just a softer, great alkaline, beautiful toner. And, you know, we all love SPV. Then you go and use sheer acidic violet, and you're like, whoa, there's a lot of tone in that. I want you to think of the word sheer when it comes to sheer acidic toners as being less or not pre-blended, right? So there's no pre-blended base. So it's sheer because we can see through the tone inside of that color. Whereas with a alkaline traditional ColorSync toner like SPV, it's got slightly more of a natural sheer super light effect. Good? Give me a thumbs up if that helps explain the difference for you. Seeing thumbs. Yay. All right. Next. Here's the 5-minute fast toners. Tanja says thumbs up. Yes, girl. So the 5-minute fast toners, we have anti-yellow, anti-brass, and anti-red, or anti. I don't know how I normally say that, but anti felt weird when it just came out of my mouth. So just to stress one more time, they're really fast. Should I apply the 5-minute fast toners on wet or dry hair? Wet, yes, Tanja, right? 5-minute fast toners should be applied on wet hair. So I'm like an at the bowl, in the bottle, right? Shake that bottle up, apply it. shampoo it in. What I love about them is that they really suds well, like almost like a shampoo. So we can move it through the hair really fast. The second thing is when you're on top of the bowl, don't leave, because 5 minutes is the maximum amount of processing. So if I mix and it's taking me 2 minutes to apply, I've only got 3 minutes left before it's completely oxidized and it needs to be off of the hair. So I see some questions. Marcus says, why, right? Could you use it dry? You could, right? The reason why we choose to use 5-minute fast toners at the bowl is because of how quickly they oxidize. And so if we do it on dry hair that's porous, what's gonna happen? It's gonna like absorb all of that color so quick. And so the second piece is the wet hair helps you to move the color through a lot faster than you can on dry hair. Jessica says, how long do they last in the hair? So great question. I always get the question of, can I use a 5-minute fast toner as my final formula? The answer is, for Matrix, yes, okay? Now, here's Alex, the hairdresser. Let's have a conversation. How long do you feel like something that's on the hair 5 minutes is realistically gonna last if the hair is porous? Melissa says 5 washes. Tanja says a few shampoos. I mean, listen, if we've got really porous hair, you guys, and we use a 5-minute fast toner and we leave it for 5 minutes and take it off, at the end of the day, something that's on the hair 5 minutes has not had enough time for that developer to truly drive it deep down into the cortex and anchor onto the hair. So we don't have like a rule of thumb for how long they last, but I will say, if you love the tone that you get with a 5-minute fast toner, I would maybe put a gloss over top, right? So you can lock it in, seal it, so you get a little bit more longevity out of your toner. Tanja says she had to do it section by section on super thick hair. Oh, and it was dark. Yeah. I mean, if it takes you a long time to apply, it's going to oxidize way too dark.
I had to apply a section, rinse it out, apply a second section, rinse it out. That's how fast it was coming up. Like, it was no joke.
I was doing a silver one day, and I put that anti-yellow on there, and I'm talking like, we shampooed it in, and within a minute, I was like, boom, gone, like rinsing it out. And but that's what I love about it. Like, I don't want to have to pre-tone for 15 to 20 minutes to then go back and tone a second time. I would much rather get it on, get it off. And that's the idea. So just think of these as like a tool in the back room that you pull out when necessary, not necessarily every day on every guest. Yes, Marcus, thank you for the question. Joey says, yes, leaves you with a great canvas, for sure. Thank you guys for that. Okay, so let's keep rolling. The last thing we're going to talk about is that we have regular or traditionally is our sheer pastels, right? And so now you can really see the difference between the word sheer when it comes to acidic toners and the word sheer when it comes to our sheer pastels, right? Much softer in tone. And more of a great toner for light hair that we're just looking to soften or neutralize, not so much to take it to an extreme place. Good, and we're gonna dive a little deeper into this momentarily. Okay, so while I'm here, let me pause. What questions do you have before we start to move into some of the new exciting things that are coming? And Carter, I have you on the Pearl question, I promise. I'm getting there.
Can I ask a silly question? It's Melissa.
Questions. Yes.
Well, I've been doing hair for so long that glossing and all this stuff was not back in my day. Yeah. And so for a good gloss treatment after to kind of seal things in, what would you recommend, and what is the actual process for that?
One moment, I have a secret for you. All right, you made me jump the gun because I want to talk about it so bad that I just have to. So so two things. We talked about alkaline and acid, right? And so if we really want to constrict hair or seal the cuticle and lock it in, where would we like a gloss to live? On what side of the pH scale, acid or alkaline?
Acid.
Acid, right? So I've always used traditional ColorSync clear as a gloss and loved it, but it is slightly alkaline. And so if someone has natural hair, sometimes it gives the subtlest amount of shift. And so, dun, da, 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 we're launching next month, well, at the very end of next month, August 17th to 23rd, just so you guys know, we're doing this big National Balayage Week campaign at Matrix. It's gonna be brilliant. And in that week, we will be launching a new sheer acidic clear. So this 100% is what I would use for glossing. I've used it on my hair and I am obsessed. It's acidic, it's shiny. I mean, I'm seeing myself using this on like kids after the summer when they've over chlorinated their hair and their hair's brittle and dry. Like it's a gloss and it's an acid-based clear. And so I'm super excited for that. And really excited to be able to play with this inside of my sheer acidic toners. So now we have a clear that we can like dilute that sheer violet if we feel like it's a little bit too pigmented. Good. Tom just says, yes. Yeah, I'm literally like, I can't. I want it like yesterday. What other questions do we have?
Hey, Alex, it's Marcus. Do any of your clears give lift? I know that the sheer one probably won't give any lift, but does your other clear give you lift? I believe it's an alkaline color.
So the ColorSync alkaline clear can give. I would say if someone has a really densely packed cuticle, like you're really not going to see anything. But if someone's got baby fine level 7 hair, right, I might see subtle amounts of shift. Melissa, I have you in 1 second. Now our So Color, our permanent clear, can give you up to 4 levels of lift, right? If you wanted a clear that truly is made to give lift. Is that good?
Yes, thank you. I'm just I'm a newbie, so I'm just trying to get it all together.
Melissa, thank you for the question. Melissa says, so the new sheer clear will be with 10 volume. Yeah, everything's with 10 volume. So I have a little secret that I learned recently in a fun chemistry class. I don't know if you guys follow Julie Klein on Instagram, but if you don't, start yesterday. Her Instagram is Colors with Chemistry. She's brilliant and she's like a color chemistry guru. And so I like bug and learn things from her all the time. Tanja says she's awesome. Yes. One of the things that I learned from her is that developer, hydrogen peroxide, is guess what? It's acidic. Boom. Like I never knew that. I probably should have, but 11 years I've been doing hair and I learned probably 2 years ago that developer was acidic. So I hope that you don't think I'm crazy, but we all learn stuff every day. And so everyone's always so scared of 10 volume, but in reality, it's not the developer. The developer is what lifts, right? Alkalinity that allows the cuticle to open enough for the developer to shift and lift. So if I'm using an acid-based color, it will keep the cuticle shut enough to not allow the developer to go in and eat. She legit breaks down the chemistry in such a fun way. Yes, I 100% agree. Melissa says, why doesn't Matrix have a 6 volume? Yeah, I mean, listen, I get that question all the time. We used to have a 6 volume. And I don't know that I have like a for sure answer, but 1.6% hydrogen peroxide versus 3% hydrogen peroxide ultimately inside of an alkaline based color really doesn't make all that much of a world of difference. And we like simple at Matrix and accessible and easy. And so that's why we have universal developers that are mixed with everything. If you want no shift, no lift, no deposit, use your sheer acidic toners. Good? Great question though. We get it all the time. Okay. All right, so let's talk about what's new. Upgrade your complete toning toolbox to an 11 out of 10. So we are now launching, also next month, level 11 toners in ColorSync and our traditional alkaline toners. So we will have 11N, 11V, 11A, and 11P, all inside of ColorSync. So we will be the first brand to launch level 11 toner. So we're officially gonna have the lightest toners on the market. Super exciting, right? So I get the question all the time, and I'm gonna show you guys some swatches here in a minute that I hope you can see okay over my screen. But it's, when would I use a level 11 over a level 10 over a sheer pastel? I'll tell you, level 11s are really great for levels 10 and lighter. So, you know, when we think about, someone asked the question, like what toner to use on what level. So when hair is porous, we've already talked about the fact that it's going to absorb the tone, right? And take it on. So if I'm at a level 10 and I don't want a lot of tone, I'm just looking to soften that blonde or neutralize it or create something that stays really light, sort of just balancing out the canvas without bringing it darker. If I tone that with a level 10, oftentimes it might start to feel like a level 9. So if I really want to leave it at that level 10, be as light and bright as I can, using a level 11, toning a level lighter, will give me a true 10. So that's why I would choose to use an 11 over a 10. Whereas the sheer pastels, they just have a little bit more tone. And you'll see what I mean by that when I actually show you it on swatches. Okay. And in that, so ready for these. Yes, Melissa, me too. And we'll save on using clear. No, 100%, right? Because I'm with you. I dilute my 10s all the time when I want something softer. Yeah, Jasmine says so excited. Yay! Okay, so the other new fun friend that we're adding, I didn't bring it over here, is sheer pastel pearl. So give me a thumbs up emoji if you love sheer pastels. I'm seeing them. So for all you SP freaks, we don't want to leave you out. We want to add something new for you too. And so Jessie says obsessed and with pearl, 100%. So I've always been a pearl fanatic, and we'll talk about why. But now we're adding a sheer pastel pearl. So Carter asked the question earlier, what is the base inside of a pearl? Like, why do we have a violet, an ash, and a pearl? Who can share with me what the base in a pearl is? Who knows or wants to guess? You think it's blue? You think it's violet? You think it's both? What do you think? Melissa says violet. Yeah, love that. So pearl is a blue-violet base with a hint of gold underneath. And so I always get this question, like, doesn't violet neutralize yellow? Well, yes, it does. Jessie says both. So ultimately, pearl is made to create, like, think about when you look at a pearl, an actual pearl in the sun, you see like reflex of violet and blue, and just like the most subtle hint of a pink when the sun hits it in a certain light, right? And so pearl to me creates the most beautiful, cool, sandy, champagne blonde out there. I'm obsessed with pearls. If you haven't used them, you fall in love. And I use a lot of 8s because I mean a lot of my blondes are not level 10s and 11s that I work with in the salon. And so 8P, 8V, also some of my favorites. Good? So here's another exciting feature with our new sheer pastels. So I've seen a lot of people in the Matrix group, Matrix Color Stylists, having a heart attack because they were struggling to get sheer pastels. They're not going anywhere. We love them, you love them, we're not taking them away, but they just got a little bit of an upgrade. So now our sheer pastels will last you up to 25 shampoos. So the longest lasting dyes we've ever had inside of ColorSync. And then we've added this fade resistant technology, which I think we talk more about on this slide, that help them to stay cool longer. So the blondes that are complaining about the fact that they fade, they cool off, or they warm up too quick, here we go. We're here to help. So level 11s, levels 10 and lighter. The new sheer pastels are for hairs levels 8 and lighter. So obviously, the deeper and more warm someone's hair is, the less cool the end result is going to be. The lighter and more pale someone's hair is, the cooler result we're going to get from a sheer pastel. How does it work? Level 11s, tone extra light blondes for even saturation from scalp to ends. Listen, they're just great for your lightest levels. And sheer pastels have what we call a purple R dye. Just think of it like, here, let me show you. It's cooler and it's longer lasting. In my head, okay, this isn't like fact. This is how Alex would define a purple R dye based on my own little research. So shh, don't tell anyone I'm telling you. I feel like it's a slightly larger color molecule, right? And so if it's larger, it's going to last longer. Oh, wait. If everyone finds me in the corner of your screen and taps on me, I should get bigger. So, can you guys see this? So if you look, man, it's really, let me try to turn off one of these lights and see if it helps. That's a little better, right? So SPV, if you look at it, it has, man, a lot of violet reflect, right, inside of that tone. So if I use this on a level 8 or 9, I'm really gonna help to neutralize. If I use it on a lighter level, I'm gonna start to see that violet actually reflect in the end result. If I'm at like a 10 or 11, you might start to see hints of that violet reflect. Level 11s are the lightest and brightest with just the most subtle hint of violet. What do we know about our traditional ColorSync toners? Let me ask a better question. That was a terrible question. Are they pure tone or are they pre-blended? No guesses. They're pre-blended. So yeah, there it is, Tanja. So our traditional ColorSync toners are pre-blended with a slight beigey tan, right? Like neutral base. And so that's what you're gonna see the difference between like a level 11 versus an SP, right? The 10 is just slightly darker than the level 11. So great to tone levels 9s and 10s if I really want that oomph behind it. And then here is sheer acidic violet. I wish I had the SP. I should have put these two next to each other. But look at the difference. Does that help you to like visually see the difference between the word sheer in a sheer acidic toner versus a sheer pastel toner? I hope so. Give me a thumbs up if that helps. Yay. Love, love, love. Perfect. Okay, so let's keep going. Guys, it's 11:54. I hope this is impactful because we've got a lot of content and I hope that you're enjoying it and that it's worth it. Oh, thank you, Jasmine. Okay. So in the chat box, who can tell me what levels are the best sheer pastels, are the new sheer pastels best for? 10, love it. What else?
10 and up.
10 and up, love it. Maybe a little deeper. Joey, yes, levels 8 and lighter, right? So that sheer pastels specifically, because they don't have a level, can be used on levels 8 and lighter. Okay. Man, we still got lots of people joining. How exciting. For our last 5 minutes. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so running low on time. I just want to touch on my new other exciting friend, and that is our sheer acidic brunettes. So Carter, we love you, and we're adding sheer acidic brunettes. So for all of those people who are obsessed, like I am, I'm like a balayage fanatic, and all I use is the sheer, well, I use a whole lot of sheer acidic toners. I'm so stoked that we have something now to offer for our brunette clients. Yes. Perfect. So there, and clear. So we'll have green, ash, neutral, and mocha. Am I missing one? Something feels off about that story. Yeah. Anyways, this slide might change before August 17th. Don't tell anyone. Okay, because this right here is called brunette matte, and I don't see that on that chart. All right. Why is my slides not going? So who are they for? You can use these on as dark as a level 2 up to a level 6. So many of you are going to say, wait, but the sheer acidic toners traditionally were for levels 8 and lighter. What do I do about my friends that live at a level 7? Guess what? You can mix them together. They're all friends. Start to play. I suggest, my favorite thing, that these blonde swatches on Pivot Point, I think are like $30. And for like 50 of them. And I love to buy those for the salon and just play. Like when I get new toys, swatch it out. It's the best way you're gonna be able to see what the background is in every tone, so you'll know what to use for what. It's acidic, right? So we know no deposit, no lift, no unwanted warmth. So I think we've talked about this one quite a bit, but in addition to the new sheer acidic brunettes, what's the other acidic shade we're adding?
Clear.
Clear, yes. Okay, we've made it. We're at the finish line. So what other questions before we go? I'm looking at the expectations and I see we had what's new. So we talked about a lot of new things coming. Acidic options. So what options do we have in acidic? More for you, Carter. What toners for what level? I think that was Tanja. I hope that we sort of balanced that and cleared that up. And P versus V. Carter, do you feel good about Pearl versus Violet? Am I seeing a head nod?
Yes.
And then 5 minutes versus traditional. Jasmine, do you guys feel like we sort of went through that information okay?
Yeah, I definitely think we got a lot of that information. Again, I'm sending you a message right now, so definitely check it out and see. But us as a school, we definitely gathered so much info. My students are so excited right now to go back on my floor and start practicing and trying out some of these toners. So thank you so much again for all this knowledge.
Oh my gosh, you are so, so welcome. Any last minute burning questions before we close out? Marcus, you are so welcome. Thanks for coming. Perfect. Levels 8 and 9 and sheer Do levels 8 and 9 and sheer pastels last 25 shampoos? Trista. So are you saying if the question is, if I use a sheer pastel on a level 8 or 9, will it last up to 25 shampoos? If that's the question, my answer would be yes, it will last up to 25 shampoos. If the question is, do level 8s in ColorSync also last up to 25 shampoos? Our claim with traditional ColorSync is that they last up to 20 shampoos. So I hope that answers that question. Where did you say you got the swatches, Joey? Through Pivot Point. So you can go on Pivot Point and you can set up an account and order through them. That's where we get all of our mannequin heads, swatches, all of that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna just share, this is my contact information. So my cell phone number is here, my email, as well as my Instagram. Please reach out to me with any questions. If you want individual classes for your team, for your salons, let me know. We can always make that happen. And then keep checking out that Adobe Spark link that we put out. There's a ton of education happening every week. So, and everybody on this team is brilliant. So please come hang out with us. We enjoy you. Thank you. Have a beautiful Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. We're almost there. All right, bye guys. Thank you.